For our first story, we have Mike, 26 female, SIL, 28 female, asked to be in the delivery room with my husband and I. How'd I let her down gently? Throw away because she knows my main, and if she finds this anyway, love you Lil. Okay, to start this off, she's my husband's sister and her and I have been best friends ever since he introduced me to his family after we started dating at 16. I'm now 31 weeks pregnant with our first baby, a little boy, and she's also around 22 weeks pregnant with her and her fiancé's first baby. Her request isn't out of entitlement but out fear. What happened is that when she came over around a month ago, my husband and I were educating ourselves on childbirth, aka watching YouTube videos. I paused it after he let her in, but she saw what we were watching and was like, "No, I'm going to join you. I want to know too." Yes, I know we sound like children, and to be honest my view on the whole thing was childish because thinking about pregnancy theoretically is nothing like experiencing it, and I figured it was going to be the same with childbirth. Anyway, after a couple videos, my husband and I were kind of okay, just a bit nervous. My Sil on the hand, well, she was rubbing her bump and looking at her body like it was foreign. Again, knowing what it technically entails is different than going through it. We didn't talk much about it because she shut down the topic, so my husband made us hot chocolate and put on a movie before we smothered her in a sandwich cuddle, and that was that. Over the month she's asked me random questions like if I was going to get induced, if the yoga I'm doing helps, etc. We were baby shopping yesterday and she asked me who I'm going to have in the delivery room. I told her it was just going to be my husband and I. She then asked if she can be in there with us. I was surprised and asked her why, and she said that she's been feeling anxious and scared about giving birth, and seeing me go through it would maybe help alleviate that a bit. I told her it's something I'd talk to my husband about, but I already knew my answer is no, his is too. My mom would have maybe been the only one I would have said yes to, but she's gone, and while I love my mother-in-law and Sil, I'm going to be at my rawest, and I feel like I wouldn't be comfortable with anyone other than my husband there. I don't want to word it like that when I tell her no because I don't want to scare her more, so how can I do it gently? That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "My sister had already had 2 children when she assisted at mine. I won't go into details, but she ended up really traumatized and nearly didn't have any more children. She says it's so hard watching someone you love suffering and feeling helpless." Our second commenter says, "I don't think that would be good for either of us. If it gets complicated, I will worry about you. Instead, why don't we get together after the birth and we can talk about my birth story one-on-one, and you can ask questions in a safe space." Our third commenter says, "I don't want to have to be worrying about whether I'm scaring you while I'm giving birth. I need to not have anything else to worry about than giving birth." That's the gentlest way I can think of to phrase it. If she persists beyond that, then she really does not deserve gentleness. For our second story, we have I, female 44, hired an investigator and have discovered my husband's, male 47, affair and sex addiction. What on earth do I do next? My husband, male 47, and I, female 44, I have been married for just over a decade, and it has been, for the most part, a loving marriage centered around our 2 beautiful children. Of course, I've had grievances. He travels a lot for work, is constantly glued to his phone, and sometimes would abruptly pop out for errands that he has always been incredibly vague about. Initially, these didn't concern me too much. He has a very demanding job that has allowed us to have a lifestyle I never thought possible, meant that I could leave work to be with the children, take us on wonderful holidays, send the children to a great school. I always felt that complaining to him about his work, phone, computer, and random emergencies would be so selfish considering everything he does for us. However, 2 weeks ago, I started getting really suspicious after I had found a condom in the inside pocket of his blazer. There was no reason for him to have it there, as we only ever have sex at home and, frankly, it isn't something we do as often as we used to. This prompted me to do something I never thought I would do, but I found an opportunity to get into his phone when he wasn't looking. I'm not sure what I was looking for. I first looked at his photos but couldn't find anything. Then I thought I would check his messaging apps, WhatsApp, Telegram, both were password locked, which I found very odd. Only iMessage could be accessed, but there was barely anything there. At this point, I had a sinking feeling something was up. Last year, a friend was in a similar situation and used a digital investigator to learn more about her absent and secretive fiancé. The investigator found out that this man had been living a complete double life, with a long-term girlfriend in Edinburgh, and, unbelievably, a whole business he had set up and was earning money from. She had no idea about the business or all the money he was earning from it, and no doubt spending on his girlfriend. I asked for the investigator's details and requested that they pull together anything and everything they could find about my husband. The investigator spent about a week digging online and came back to me with a report that changed my life forever. I got a call from the investigator, warning me that my husband's report would be a very difficult read, and that I should open it in private at a time when I would be able to process it fully. Since I received it, I have barely been able to eat, sleep, properly take care of the kids, or speak to him, and yet he is so absent-minded he doesn't even realize something is wrong. It turns out that my husband of over 10 years has been 1. Having an affair with a woman 15 years his junior. 2. Financing this woman's lifestyle and her failed business venture. 3. Attending sex parties with her, where they have sex with other partners. 4. Posting in a revolting online sex forum, including pictures of his genitals, and details his addiction to porn and escorts to his creepy online friends. 5. Based on this posts online, has clearly been spending thousands on escorts as far back as 7 years ago. I have no idea where to go from here. I don't know what to do. I have no idea how to confront him about this, or if I should see a lawyer first. I know the obvious decision is to simply divorce, but our children are 9 and 7. I have loved him since we first met 14 years ago, and I know that I have a place in his heart too, in spite of these actions. If he is truly an addict, then maybe there is a way to get through this if he agrees to treatment. I am a complete mess and I can't talk about this to anyone in person just yet. Any advice you have for me would be really appreciated. That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, 1. Talk to a lawyer before you do anything. 2. No, this is not something that will be fixed or cured via therapy. Therapy only works if the person does the work. It isn't a magical cure that resolves giant issues just because you schedule an appointment and show up. The reality is you have been married to someone who is capable and willing to lie to your face systematically. Therapy doesn't just fix that. In fact, if he has a personality disorder, which I suspect based on your post about his behavior, he likely will never change. 3. Do more research into pathological love relationships. Briefly, ask yourself these questions. Does he have difficulties with empathy, egotism, exploitativeness? Aggrandized sense of self? Distorted perceptions of self and others? Self-serving? Boundary violations? Blame shifting? Low remorse? Low accountability? Motivated by power, control, personal gain? Just a brief place to start exploring who you are actually married to. 4. Talk to a lawyer and a therapist before doing anything. Someone who specializes in pathological love relationships ideally. Our second commenter says, therapy will not work because he clearly is reveling in his addiction and secretive lifestyle and he shows little remorse for it. Escorts, sex parties, and financing a mistress is way too far. That man does not love you. You're a live-in caretaker for his children and home that he can occasionally have sex with too. Lawyer up, protect your own finances and lifestyle, and your children's future. Our third commenter says, act normal. Lawyer up. Jim. STD test. Get your ducks in a row, follow lawyer's advice. Ask lawyers what you are entitled to. Children's allowances, etc. When you are ready to, drop the bombshell on him. Go back to work. For our last story, we have Mike, female 24, boyfriend, male 28, cheated on me while we are traveling. Where do I go from here? My BF and I are currently traveling in Southeast Asia. We've been planning on this trip for months and planned on traveling for 2 to 3 months. He went to get a massage the other day and the woman gave him a condom. He put it on and they had sex for a few seconds before he stopped and left. He told me the next day. We've been together almost 2 years now and I love him deeply. He feels terrible and ashamed about it and I am obviously feeling betrayed in a whirlwind of emotions. I've never cheated or been cheated on before. I don't know what to do. I think it's easier to stay with him because I love him and if I'm being honest, I don't want to leave him. I'm feeling pretty conflicted right now and more alone than I've ever felt. Especially being in a foreign country. He wants to work things out. He says he will do whatever it takes, including counseling. Having friends that have been cheated on, I've always advised them to leave. I know leaving is a lot harder than forgiving him, but staying maybe be a huge disrespect to myself. I keep telling myself that at least he was honest. At least he didn't go through with it fully and stopped. But I know those are just the barest minimum of what he should do after crossing a major boundary. I don't really know where I'm going with this post. I think I'm just feeling very alone right now with pretty much no one to talk to. I guess that's why I'm reaching out to the internet void. If anyone has any advice or experiences they'd like to share, I would very much appreciate it. That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, greater than at least he didn't go through with it fully and stopped. I don't know about your definitions of intercourse, but if I am putting on a condom and end up inside another person, I've gone through with it fully. Our second commenter says, do you really believe the story the way he told it? The woman just gave him the condom? And instead of saying, actually, I'm just here for a massage, he went, well, I guess I have to now. But it's okay, because it was only for a few seconds and then he had to stop because he loves you so much. Truly, when you're really honest with yourself, do you really think that's what happened? Please. He thinks you're an idiot. Prove him wrong. Our third commenter says, you know full well he's lying. I spend 4 months a year in Thailand. That's not how the massage parlors work. They don't just give you a condom and get to it. They'll ask you what you want with your massage: hand job, blow job, body to body, boom boom, or just a massage. Your boyfriend asked for it and is lying to you to alleviate his guilt. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.